All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the Legend Real Estate Trust webinar. Today is August 8th, 2024, and we are going to go ahead and get started. So hello to everybody who is already joined the webinar as people are coming in as well. Everybody go ahead and put into the chat where your location is. I'm curious to know where you guys are at. I am in Guelph, Ontario is kind of home base for us, but I'm curious to know where everybody else is joining in from. So we've got Fergus, Binbrook, Ontario, Port Alberni from Vancouver, amazing. Victoria, I'm assuming Victoria, BC. Oh, another Guelphite. Yeah, Sam, I know you. Amazing, great. So we've got some attendees from all across the country, which is very exciting to see. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Amanda. I'm the COO of Legend, and I'm going to be hosting today's webinar. So it's just going to be myself today while Marty, my business partner, husband, and co-host is busy doing a couple other items right now. We're currently listing our home house for sale. So the realtor gave us a long list of items that he needs to do before we actually hit the MLS. So we're going to divide and conquer for today. So I'm going to pull up my slide deck here. And bear with me while I run through my own controls here of Zoom. Okay, so share my screen. Okay, so I hope everybody is seeing a PowerPoint presentation. If not, go ahead and pop into the chat and let me know if you're unable to see my screen. And I'm actually just going to adjust my little chat bar so that I can see that as well. Okay, so a couple housekeeping items here. We do have the chat open to everybody. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat as we go. So as I'm running through the presentation, I will peek into the chat. If you prefer to use the Q&A feature, that should be enabled for you to put a question into the Q&A. So again, I'll check in on all of those and see how you guys want to interact and if you've got questions coming up along the way. So let's jump right into it. So again, welcome to Legend. We are a real estate investment trust that is focused on acquiring and developing high quality multifamily properties all across Canada. Oh, and I'm trying to do my slide control. There we go. So for our agenda today for today's webinar, we've done our hello and welcome. So there's a big check off the list. We're going to start off the presentation with an offer strategy in a hot market. So just a quick little education session for all of you. I will go through Legend Real Estate Trust as an overview and just explain a bit more about who we are, what we do, and what is our investment offering. And we're really going to take a big focus on the Waterloo location as well. So our flagship property is 144 Lucan, and this is in Waterloo, Ontario. So we're going to talk about some location highlights. We're going to spend some time focusing on leveraging your RSPs to invest in real estate today as well. And then, of course, the next steps if you're interested to get involved and participate in Legend. So we're going to get started here with a little bit of a storytelling session here. So as we know, the fall season starts to ramp up for real estate, and this is when our markets start to heat up, especially in light of the recent interest rate cuts. I don't know about you guys, but we are definitely starting to see an increase of activity within our local markets. And I've got a couple properties for sale right now. I've got a couple vacancies for rent right now as well. And all of these areas are starting to pick up with more activity. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about today and share with you is a bit of an offer strategy as being a buyer in a hot market. So in Ontario, back in December 21st, 2023, Ontario rules introduced the option for sellers to use an open bidding process when they were selling a home. So it used to be in, a multiple offer situation that you wouldn't know what the other offers were, and you'd be asked to, increase your offer, and you would be in a blind bidding war situation. in Ontario, the sellers are now able to reveal what the other offers are in those types of situations. So it's not required. They don't have to show what the other offers are, but they are able to. So this is a strategy that Marty and I recently used when purchasing our new primary residence. So at the beginning of this year, and again, full credit for this negotiation goes to Marty. This was his idea and his strategy. So when we offered on this property, we went in at asking price, and we thought that was, pretty strong. We went in with the seller's closing date and a reasonable deposit. So we went into this feeling like it was strong and that we really wanted to buy this property. Of course, there's an emotional attachment when you're buying a primary residence, which we can pretend to not get emotional, but we are people and it's what happens. So when we put in our offer and submitted that, the sellers had come back to us and they said, there are 2 other offers on the table. You're now in a multiple offer situation. Do you guys want to compete? So our response back was, yes, we want to compete, but show us the other 2 offers. Now, again, the sellers don't have to show the other offers, and they said, no, we're not going to show the other offers, but go ahead and increase your offer if you guys want to compete. So in this situation, what we did is we wrote into our offer that if we were not the highest bid, we would beat the highest bid by $50,000. So what this forced them to do is, we have to put a number there. You can't just say, oh, we're going to increase our offer by 50,000. We said we would beat the highest offer by $50,000. So the result of this would be they would have to reveal to us what was the other highest offer. So it turned out that when we had submitted this, and it's pretty attractive to a seller as well, that if we really weren't the highest offer and they could get $50,000 higher, then they would want to do that and they would go ahead and reveal what that was. But it also revealed to us that in reality, we were already the highest offer in this situation, and they just accepted our offer instead. So again, it was an emotional situation, and it was tempting to just say, oh my gosh, there's 2 other offers at the table. Let's just throw more money at it. We held tight and deployed this offer strategy instead. And what this meant is that we did not end up unnecessarily overpaying for this property and competing with ourselves, right? So, if you're in Ontario and you're a buyer, and you're in a situation where, there's probably like 2, 3 other offers, maybe up to 5. If they've got 10 offers on the table, they might just say, forget it. I'm not going to deal with yours if you're being difficult. But this is a great strategy that could work, again, if you're up against a couple other offers. So anyways, that's a piece of advice over to you guys to use as you wish. And again, any questions along the way, go ahead and pop them into the chat or the Q&A session. Now, we're going to get into Legend next. So I'm going to skip to my next slide. I talk about Legend's offering from an overview perspective. And Alicia, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and drop into the chat the link for the investor deck, the investor presentation. So if anybody wants to follow along, or make sure that you download the investor deck. This is the full overview that will be in the chat. Perfect. The investor pitch deck. Excellent. So that's the full presentation. I've just pulled a couple slides to do a brief overview for the presentation, but make sure if you haven't reviewed this already, that you go ahead and have a deep dive into Legend's offering. So the way that we've structured our investment here is that we're targeting annual returns of 15 to 20% annual ROI. 8% of that is projected to be a cash flow payment that will be distributed quarterly to our investors. We've got a $10,000 minimum commitment, and we do have a DRIP program available as well. So DRIP stands for Dividend Reinvestment Program. And if you don't wish to receive your cash flow payments, then you can reinvest that cash flow into the fund for a 2% discount. So it's a great added bonus. And for investment vehicles, Cash is always accepted, but registered funds are accepted into our fund as well. So that means any Canadian registered account you can self-direct and put into Legend. So an RSP, TFSA, RESP, etc. And for investor suitability, the Legend offering is available for eligible investors and accredited investors as well. Now, Legend Edge, what sets Legend apart from other investments? Well, I would say first and foremost is our targeted returns. 15 to 20% annual returns are very competitive in this market, and also offering that 8% cash flow component as well can be very attractive to most investors. We built our fund with investors in mind. So Marty and I have been investing in real estate for nearly 20 years now, and we were coaches for many years, and we're very involved within the real estate investing community. So we're very much aware of what people are looking for from an investment perspective, and we built Legend with that in mind. Now, a huge leverage piece is that we empower passive investment. Now, what this means is Marty and I do all the work and we do all the heavy lifting, and our investors can participate in Legend from a completely hands-off, passive approach. And again, of course, you're going to be able to, potentially reach your financial goals along the way, and we will keep you up to date and informed along the way as well with quarterly reporting. You've got access to us, through email, through social media, etc. So again, we do all the heavy lifting, and our investors get to, well, essentially make money in your sleep and be investing from a completely passive position. The second thing is our rigorous selection process. So we are very choosy. We're picky when we're out there selecting our investments. So between Marty and I, we are handpicking the best properties that we believe are out there that are going to meet our criteria that fit in overall with the structure of our investment fund. And we're looking for properties that are going to generate meaningful income and, of course, that capital appreciation that we want to see over time. Our first property, as you'll see, is in Ontario, so Waterloo, Ontario, but we are open-minded to purchase Canadian real estate. So coast to coast, we've looked at properties in Alberta. We actually looked at a portfolio in Manitoba as well. So we're open-minded to be able to purchase multifamily properties, again, that suit our rigorous selection process and, of course, fit in with our fund model. Now, portfolio diversification is the third piece here as well. So when you're investing into Legend Real Estate Trust, you are not investing into one property. You're actually investing into a fund of properties. And what this helps to do is you get diversified ownership across multiple properties as we grow. And in turn, this helps to reduce some risk and offering our investors some more peace of mind with investing into Legend. So we've got a question here from Christina. Thank you, Christina. Is it solely Canadian real estate properties you're interested in? Yes, absolutely. So at this time, Legend is focused on Canadian real estate in tier 1 markets, so large markets all across Canada. And we do not have active plans at this time to go international. So, I mean, anything's possible in time, but right now we are solely focused on Canadian real estate. And then moving along here about driving growth and value within the portfolio. So the way we come to the returns of the 15 to 20% annual returns is broken into two separate categories. So the first of which is the cash flow. So cash flow in the simplest terms is income goes in, expenses come out, and the cash flow is what remains. And we're targeting 8% annual returns for our investors to fit in with our Legend fund. And then the equity component is the second component. And we're targeting 7 to 12% targeted annual growth for the properties that we're putting into the fund here. So this increase in equity translates into a higher unit value, and this would be realized on redemption. So for clarity here, 8%, the cash flow payment will be distributed quarterly to our investors. And the 7 to 12% in equity growth, this is realized upon redemption. So when you actually exit, when you cash out your investment. And I don't think I was clear on the earlier slide, but when you were buying into Legend, you're actually buying units or shares into the company. Actually, my next slide outlines this very clearly. Let's go ahead to that. So when you're buying into Legend, you're actually buying units and we're selling them at $10 per unit. So what that looks like for a $10,000 investment, which is the minimum commitment, that means you're actually purchasing 1,000 units at $10 per unit. Now, if we fast forward and look at this practical example of investor profits, then the cash flow component, if we achieve that 8% cash flow number on the $10,000 investment, this would translate into $800 annually. Now, cash flow is distributed quarterly, which results in a $200 payout every 3 months for the year. And then our equity growth, again, our targeted range is 7 to 12% annual growth. Let's assume that we achieve that 12% growth rate. That means our unit price is going to increase from $10 is what you purchased it for. It'll increase to $11.20 per unit value. So consequently, the investor's portfolio, it grows to 11,200 based on that 1,000 unit initial purchase. So then what we're going to do is we will combine the year one profits. If you combine the $800 in profits that you made in cash flow, and then the $1,200 in equity growth that we would achieve in that 1 year, this totals $2,000 in profits for 1 year, again, based on a $10,000 investment. And if we fast forward to a long-term perspective, over a 5-year period, your initial $10,000 investment could double to $20,000 by the end of a 5-year period. So again, that's how we get from a $10,000 investment, fast forward to 5 years, becomes $20,000, and that is a 20% annual return over a 5-year period. So I'm going to pause and just see if there is a question here in the chat or in the Q&A. So Christina, yes. Is there a minimum time period that you're expected to leave your investment in the trust? So great question. Yes, absolutely. So there isn't a specific minimum. You're not locked into the fund. You can exit early. But if you're exiting before the 5-year commitment period, there are redemption fees. So the longer you stay in, the lower the redemption fee actually is. So if you're leaving at year 1, your redemption fee is 6%, year 2, it's 5, 4, and so on. So it reduces up until the 5-year period. So that's a great question to ask. And again, it doesn't mean that you're going to lose investment or you're still not going to profit. It's just a small redemption fee that comes off, more so from an administrative perspective. But if you stay committed for up to that 5-year mark, then there are no redemption fees and you can leave at that time, or you can continue to keep your money invested into Legend and continue to benefit from those profits. You can also do again, because you're buying units into the fund, you could do a partial redemption. So say you fast forward to 5 years, your 10,000 has turned into 20,000, and perhaps you want to extract 5,000 of those profits, then you're welcome to do that as well, and you can renew. So we've built the fund with flexibility in mind, understanding that for some people, 5-year period can go by in a blink of an eye. That can be very, very quick. And for others, a 5-year period is a very long time for somebody to commit to an investment. We also know that life circumstances come up, so we didn't want to forcefully keep any money, that if we need to exit an investor, that we've got process in place in order to do so. So again, that flexibility to customize your investment is available to participate in Legend. Okay, so let's have a closer look here at our flagship property. So the first property that will be going into Legend is 144 Lucan Avenue in Waterloo, Ontario. So our purchase price on this building was 21,500,000, and this is a 60-unit, beautiful turnkey apartment building in Waterloo. So 50% of this building is brand new. It was an addition that the sellers had completed the renovation on, and 50% was fully renovated. So what this gives us is 100% beautiful, brand new, gorgeous apartment building that is in really great shape. It passed Marty's test, and we all know that Marty is, our construction expert, our carpenter who is on site and going through each of these units. So we inspected the entire building, and this is an absolutely stunning property. And our purchase cap rate was at 5.3, and a strategic advantage because half of the building was newly renovated. It is exempt from Ontario rental increase guidelines. Now, the remainder of the building was also renovated, so we're at market rents with this building, and we will be cash flowing on closing. So an incredible opportunity. We tied this up around, the Christmas holidays, which is, again, a great time of year to actually be negotiating as a buyer. And our targeted closing date is the end of September. Certainly within the fall, before the end of the year, we will be closing on this property. So if we take a closer look here at the Waterloo region. Oh, and Samantha is saying hi to everyone. Hi, Samantha. Hi back to you. So taking a closer look here at the Waterloo region and our property on Lucan Avenue. So I just want to highlight the location. Everybody says location, location, location when it comes to real estate investing. I cannot emphasize enough the location of this apartment building. We are 4 minutes to the Grand River Hospital. We are 6 minutes to Wilfrid Laurier University. We're 9 minutes to the University of Waterloo, 5 minutes to the Kitchener Union Station, 7 minutes to the University Avenue Station, and 4 minutes from Google Waterloo. So what do you guys think? Is this a great location or what in Waterloo? Go ahead and pop into the chat if you are looking for these types of areas for your investments here. So it's super important that, when we are looking at investments, that, the location is going to help drive your tenant profile and your vacancy rates, right? So when I'm looking at this on a map, being close to the hospital is important because we've got workers who work at the hospital. So these could be incredible tenants for us at our building. When we look at the two universities here, so these are two incredible universities that we're very, very close to with our apartment building. And again, we can rent to tenants or student tenants if we wanted to, which is a great tenant profile because we don't get stuck in those stale rents. They're going to stay a max of 4 or 5 years. Oftentimes their parents are co-signing on the lease as well. So student tenants are an excellent tenant profile that I'm happy to rent to. And then also people who work at the universities as well fit really well into our tenant profile. Oh, and Layla. Okay, Layla, we'll see you later. Thanks for popping on. And yes, we'll share the recording for you. So nice to see you on today. Be in touch, okay? When we also look at the transit stations, okay, so on the Kitchener Union Station is 5 minutes away. So a tenant can be looking at the accessibility of where they live versus where they, want to work as well. And same with the University Avenue Union Station. So this is access to train, and this is access to bus routes as well. So yes, exactly, Christina, you got it. So this is a fantastic location here. And then of course, being close to Google Waterloo, well, from what I understand, working for Google is a pretty good gig and they employ a lot of people. So once again, just highlighting the incredible location of this particular apartment building. Oh, and it seems, there we go. Don't mind my technical difficulties. So again, oh, sorry, the LRT. So specifically the LRT, thank you, Alicia, runs along King Street. So yes, we're very close to the LRT. So very accessible part of the Waterloo region. So some more highlights of this area. And as investors, these are driving forces to where you want to invest into real estate. So the dynamic urban center. So when we look at the infrastructure of the city of Waterloo, we've got some massive growth happening here. So 5.5% was the growth rate in 2023. So again, where you're investing into your real estate, you want to know that there are people living in this city, that there are people working in this city, and we're looking for, a robust and diverse culture that is going to keep people happy, and again, driving that tenant profile and overall real estate values. Waterloo is also known to be the innovation and education hub. So we've got a massive tech market here. And again, it's 2024, the tech industry is where it's at when we're looking at for businesses. So we've got 29,700 tech workers. And again, two of Canada's top universities right here in Waterloo, under 10 minutes from where our building is. In addition to a thriving business community, we've got lots of startups here, and the Waterloo region has been known to be called, referenced against Silicon Valley as well. So again, a thriving business community is where you want to invest for real estate. The lifestyle, the culture, this is very exciting for tenants, that tenants want to work here. Tenants want to live here. They want to be a part of culture and community so that they can settle in and they can live long term. And then, of course, that population growth here. Sorry, I misspoke on that first one here. Oh, no, I didn't. So it was the population growth at 5.5% in 2023. But when we're looking here into expectations for future growth here in Waterloo, it's one of the fastest growing areas with potential for developments and investments here. The population is expected to grow to 835,000 people and 404,000 jobs by the end of 2041. So I've got my sources cited at the end of the presentation if anybody wants to look further into any of these articles or where we got some of these numbers from as well. So again, I can't say it any louder. Waterloo region is an incredible place to live, to work, to invest. Okay, now how to invest. So I talked about using registered funds to participate in Legend Real Estate Trust. So again, our minimum investment is $10,000, and you can absolutely invest cash if you wanted to. But one of the huge advantages to coming into Legend is the ability to use your registered funds to invest into real estate. So we call this supercharging your RSPs, and you can really maximize your retirement savings plans with Legend. So what you would need to do is a very simple maneuver here, and it's self-direct your RSPs. And what that means is that you can invest your RSPs into Legend Real Estate Trust without cashing them out and keeping all of your tax shelter advantages and benefits. I'm going to say that again. You can use your registered funds, any Canadian registered fund account, RSP, TFSA, LIRA, RESP, etc. You can invest your registered funds into Legend Real Estate Trust by self-directing them and keeping all of your tax shelter benefits. You are not cashing them out. You would be investing them into real estate. So it's a very simple process if you want to get started and go ahead and do that. We work with an exempt market dealer, an EMD, called Equivesto, and this is our compliance officer, and they will help with every step along the way. So Equivesto has integrated a company called Olympia Trust into their account setup. And this is so simple. It takes only about 10 minutes to get started. So if you have a registered account, you would self-direct to Olympia Trust, and then you would invest into Legend Real Estate Trust. So it's a very simple process. Again, it only takes about 10 minutes to get started. And you can just reach out to our team and we'll make you the connection so that we'll connect you with our EMD. Now, I wanted to share a quick case study here on the difference in ROI, looking at a typical RSP example versus investing into a private REIT here as well. So Alicia, if you wouldn't mind, actually, before I jump into this, can you drop our Calendly link into the chat? So if anybody wants to book a chat with our team, with myself or Marty, go ahead and schedule in with us. We're happy to, chat with you again about the process to use your RSPs to invest. Then you can definitely go ahead and book in. So if we look at a typical RSP example, and let's be generous and assume that you're making 8% per year in your RSP. With a $50,000 investment times 8% per year, you're profiting $4,000 per year. You take $4,000 per year times 5 years is going to give you an ROI of $20,000. Good. I mean, not bad. Now, comparatively, to invest into a private REIT, as an example, and assuming the private REIT achieves a 20% annual return, that same $50,000 investment at 20% annual return is now producing $10,000 per year, times 5 years, is a $50,000 ROI. So again, it's that doubling effect that if you're making 20% per year, you're going to double your money within a 5-year period. So, when we're looking at a side-by-side example, if you already have RSPs that are performing less than 15 to 20% per year, then you could potentially benefit from self-directing and putting them into Legend Real Estate Trust. Again, our targeted returns for our private REIT is 15 to 20% per year. So just some food for thought there for redirecting existing registered accounts. So I see a question here from Mary. So after directions of money, what will I get from the Legend company or buy Olympia Trust? I'm not sure I understand the question. Maybe you could clarify. What will you get from the Legend company? So Legend is my company. So this is where we would be producing that 15 to 20% annual return. Unless your question is from like a reporting perspective, then Legend will produce quarterly reports and you would always know what is the value of your investment, how is the company performing. We provide annual reporting as well, and you would have direct access to our team. So if you had any questions along the way, then you're welcome to reach out to us at any time. Marty and I both are very accessible to all of our investors. So Mary, if that doesn't answer your question, please just go ahead and clarify and put that in the chat, just to make sure your questions are satisfied. And then Christina, so to clarify on the RESP, if you invested in the REIT, would you still benefit from the government matching into the RESP along with benefiting from the annual ROI from the REIT? So that's a pretty specific question. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I think so. I believe so. So you're not cashing out your RESP. It is still sheltered. It is still an RESP. So it would depend specifically on how that's structured on your other end. Our EMD will connect with you directly, Christina, if you're interested for your own investing situation. They'll look at the structure of your RESP and they'll be able to inform and guide you with detail and certainty. But I believe that it should still be in the same format. All right, you're welcome. And then I've got a question here. So from Shibashish, so this 20% rate is just an anticipated rate and no guarantee. So yes, that's correct. So we are targeting a 15 to 20% annual return. Now it's not capped at 15 to 20% annual return either. So let's imagine that our real estate has gone up higher in value and that our investment has produced higher returns. It is not a maximum of 20% ROI. So if our investment is producing higher returns, then you would continue to benefit from higher returns. And same with that cash flow number as well. So the 8% cash flow number that we are targeting, we're projecting for the fund, is not a maximum. So again, this is a huge benefit to get in at the beginning, to get in at the start of Legend when you're buying in the units at $10 per unit. The growth that you can have over the years can be quite exciting, right? So we believe that we've been conservative and realistic with our projections and our targets, but they could be potentially higher. But of course, like all investments, real estate has some risks that are associated with it as well. So it's important that you read through our offering memorandum and that our EMD will go through suitability with you as well. So great question to ask. Okay, so jumping ahead here. So for next steps, for anybody who is interested to participate into Legend and to invest with us, the first step is to book a call with us, okay? So we would like to have a chat with you one-on-one with either myself or with Marty. So reach out to us. Go ahead, Alicia or Sam, and drop into the chat our emails so anybody can contact. So Amanda@legendinvestments.ca. You can also reach out to info@legendinvestments.ca or Marty@legendinvestments.ca. Send us an email. Again, our calendar link is in the chat there as well. If you just wanted to directly book into our calendar, you're welcome to do that too. We'll have a chat with you. We'll talk about your real estate investing goals. We'll chat with you about, where you want to invest from, whether it be cash or registered funds, or perhaps a blend of both. I see a lot of investors dividing their investment between spouses as well. And if you want to invest through a corporation, then that is a possibility as well. So a lot of it depends on your personal situation, your tax situation, where the funds are coming from. But if you can benefit from a targeted return of 15 to 20% per year, then Legend Real Estate Trust seems like a great option for you, especially if you already have a registered fund account that is performing less than that. You can, again, self-direct your registered account, keep all your tax shelter benefits, and put those funds into Legend, and then start benefiting from, potentially greater returns than what you're currently experiencing. So once you book a call with us, then we will introduce you to Equivesto, who is our EMD. They'll go through suitability, maximum investment amount, and then you would complete your investment online. So it's a seamless process. We hold your hand one step along the way, and it's very easy to get started. Only about 10 minutes to get yourself started. Now, a couple other benefits for anybody who is a Legend community member, let's say. If you haven't already joined our free Facebook group, then we invite you to join the Legend Inner Circle. So, Alicia, if you wouldn't mind linking to our Inner Circle group. This is a community with about 2,500 members of qualified real estate investors. So many of them are quite experienced in our industry. Some people are brand new and just getting started. So this is a place where you can go ask questions, lean on each other for support. Marty and I are in this group as well. So we're very active in the group. You've got that accessibility to us as well. And it's a free group too. So make sure that you go ahead and join the Inner Circle. And then in addition to that, if you've seen anything about PropertyCast software, we teamed up with the PropertyCast team, and they've offered a discount code for anybody who's in the Legend community. So we'll go ahead and drop that in the chat there as well. It's a 30% discount if you use this particular Legend's discount code for PropertyCast software. So we were recently on a webinar with the PropertyCast team, and that will be released shortly, if not already, and I just didn't remember. Or maybe I missed that release. No, I'm not sure. I think they're just going to release the webinar. So you guys can check out this software. It's very robust, and it's a great place for beginner investors to have a look, novice investors as well, to make sure that you're running your numbers effectively. So again, 30% discount. I've got up on my screen here my disclaimer, because my securities lawyer, we're regulated by the OSC, and they always want to make sure that we have that up there as well. And our sources for the statistics that I was quoting earlier in the presentation about the Waterloo region. So if you wanted to peek into any of those articles, those are real numbers and real sources available. So one more thing, Marty and I, we were recently on a podcast with Erwin. Some of you might have seen that already. We've had some really positive feedback. We popped into his studio the other week and just had a candid conversation with him. If you wanted to check out that podcast, then we'll leave that link in the chat here as well. I'm going to pause here for a moment and just see, does anybody have any particular questions about anything that we ran through here today? I am available for a chat, and oddly enough, when Marty's not my co-host, we zip through the time a little bit faster. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Questions? No? Okay, so either that means I did a really good job explaining things, or everybody is very familiar with the offering that we have available. Or maybe some people are feeling a little bit shy and they don't want to reach out for their question. So, yeah, reach out after the call. I am going to be available. So again, we would love it if you guys participated in Legend Real Estate Trust. Come join our community, join our email list, and make sure that you guys stay in touch. So thank you everybody for coming on today. We will send out the recording of this presentation as well. That will be available. And of course, any follow-up questions that come your way, just go ahead and reach out. We've given you lots of different ways that you can connect with us. Oh, we got a question before we go. Stephen, I have connection issues. So how long is the lock-in term? So it's a 5-year commitment to not have any redemption fees, but you can leave the fund at any time. If you leave before year 1, then it's 6%, year 2 is 5%, year 3 is 4%, and so on. So it's just a small redemption fee, more so from administration, but there's no real minimum commitment. We built the fund with flexibility in mind, but there's no redemption fees after the 5-year period. And Judy, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. You're welcome. Oh, another question. What if you leave the money in after 5 years in terms of redemption fees? There's no redemption fee. So if you stay in beyond the 5-year period and you want to cash out, then you just take your full profits at that time. There's no redemption fees at that time. And Joanne, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us today as well. Okay, everybody, have a great day. I hope it's sunny where you are. If not, I don't know. It'll probably be sunny tomorrow. Anyways, guys, have a great day. We'll see you later. Take care.